Today we're going to be talking about the power of exercise. So it's really everything that I do, everything I really I believe in really since I graduated a few years ago. Like I was saying, as a kinesiologist up at UBCO, I've been working primarily with Parkinson's disease, people with Parkinson's disease, and I'm also, like you said, certified in power moves, which I went down to Seattle a few years ago. Anyway, so today we're talking about power of exercise. We're going to go through some of the science behind it. I have a 10-step movement guide that I've made for you, and we're going to finish today as well with a live demonstration of the 4 basic, they're called, power moves. So just be about 5-10 minutes of that, which should be fun. Oh, sorry. There we go. So about me, I think most of these things we've covered. One thing I haven't really mentioned was the reason why I got into working with people with PD. So my grandpa was diagnosed quite a few years ago, about 15 years ago, and recently as well, my dad has been diagnosed with PD about, like I said, 3 years ago here, 3 to 5 years, give or take. So I have that inner spark, inner drive to help as many people as possible that living with PD. And that's why I started working with Mary, who used to teach the power moves here in Kelowna. And I'm still working with people one-on-one, and now via live over on Zoom, which is different, but I can still work with maybe even more people than I did before. So that's always a plus. So really, I've seen firsthand of what adding specific exercises can do to increase your quality of life. So going into the science behind exercise, I'm just going to briefly go through some of these. I know lots of, studies, they take a while to read. Saying that, I've given a whole bunch of resources at the end of the presentation that I'm sure Louise will email out to you all that you can print off or read on your iPads. All about certain research studies to do with exercising with Parkinson's. But I do want to note 3 main topics here, 3 main points rather. So first, daily exercise is believed to help the brain maintain old connections, so old neural connections, form new ones, and restore old ones. In certain situations, the neuroplasticity created from exercise in people with PD may actually outweigh the effects of neurodegeneration. And then the evidence from many avenues of scientific investigation argues for ongoing aerobic exercise as a means to slow Parkinson's disease progression. So aerobic, walking, biking, anything really that increases your heart rate, that's what aerobic really stands for. So along with medication, exercise is really the only real way to manage your symptoms of Parkinson's. That's why I believe it's so important. And like I said, I've seen firsthand every day, really, I work with people and how exercise can really help them. And just a little quick story. Yesterday I was working with someone one-on-one through Zoom, and she's had Parkinson's for about 5-6 years now. And she's living in Mexico, so she's able to go for walks outside, which is very nice, and has been all through winter. But anyways, for over the last 4 or 5 months, she's been testing out, saying, okay, I'm going to go for a walk. Doesn't matter, 20-45 minute walk every day, about 4 to 5 times a week. And she's been doing that for about 4 to 5 months, like I said. So the days that she's moving, so walking or working with me, she's taking about 4 to 5 of her Parkinson's specific medication. And on the days that she's not moving at all, so she's at home sedentary on the computer, whatever she's doing, she's taking between 6 and 7 pills for her Parkinson's disease. So just that alone really, like, it shows how powerful exercise can be. It can really be exercise is medicine. I'm sure you've probably heard that. I truly believe that as well. So yeah, another little story just to get us started here. So one of the main questions though is I get asked so often is, how much should I really be doing? Like, we always want to set a goal to do as much as possible. We don't want to set something too unrealistic and not able to attain it, and then you fail and you don't want to do it again. You definitely want to set a goal that's realistic, which is super nice because I got a specific point from the Parkinson's Outcomes Project, which they're saying if you do at least 2.5 hours a week of exercise, so that's around 6.5 minutes a day, that's it, per week. you will actually see quite a few benefits from just doing that. So they say exercise. Exercise is broad term. So that could be walking the dog, that could be gardening, that could be around the house, cleaning, anything like that, anything that gets you up and moving. So just by doing 6.5 minutes a day per week of movement, you can really see benefits. And that's not just for people with PD. Like this 2.5 hours a week study has been shown to help people not have heart attacks, decrease the amount of strokes, cardiovascular diseases, and all those good things. So really, movement is medicine. So saying that, I am going to open up the floor a little bit. If you do have some questions, like I said, though, I wanted to keep it brief. I have a whole list of resources at the end of the presentation because I do want to get into the 10-step guide that I've created for you. But if you do have any questions right now, you can put your hand up, and we can just have a couple minutes here. Looks like we're okay. All right, we're good. Okay, just want to make sure. Perfect. Okay, this is the good stuff. Or the other stuff's good, but I really like this next part. So, Parkinson's exercise principles is what I said. So it's a 10-step movement guide I've created. And before we even get into it, I want to talk about our posture. So I want you, if you're sitting in a comfortable in a chair you're able to, of course, you're gonna move to the front of your chair. All right, your feet are gonna be flat on the ground. Your feet are gonna be right underneath your knees. Your posture is going to be up, your shoulders are away from your ears back, your head is neutral, so we're going to pretend that we have an orange or something in between our chin and our chest here. You're going to try to keep this position for the rest of the presentation for the next 20 or so minutes. If your back does get tired or your core gets tired, you can always sit back in your chair, but I do want you to think about your posture. Okay, so the 10-step guideline is what to specifically focus on in terms of movement in your weekly exercise routine. So that 2.5 hours of movement a week like we just talked about. These 10 steps are made from my own experience, bunch of scientific research studies, online resources such as the Brian Grant Foundation I've also gone to. They're fantastic. But I've kind of just picked and pulled and made a 10-step guide of what I think is not the most important, but very top of my list type of thing. Top 10 things I do want you to try to focus on, or I would recommend you focus on every week. So first, build stamina through aerobic activity. So we talked about that in terms of the science with the one study talking about aerobic activity can be very beneficial. And it is. So research studies show that aerobic activity supports positive changes in the brain. And that includes anything like high intensity walking, biking, followed by other high intensity activities. You can do boxing, you can do power moves. You can do high intensity interval training. All these things I do one-on-one and I do in group classes as well. But it doesn't have to be in a class. It could always just be you going outside, going for a walk. Anything that increases that heart rate just a little bit will improve your aerobic systems, which has a great positive change in your brain. So that's number one. That's one of the most important things I would say to do. So if you want to make a change this week or the next couple of weeks, try to go for a couple more walks or a little bit longer walks. That's the biggest thing that I would say to do that you can make a change in your life really quickly. Number two. So next few points are all going to be about posture. So firstly, we want to target specific areas for flexibility. So with Parkinson's, you get the rigid spine, you go into that stoop posture, right? That fetal position. And with that comes a whole array of movement issues, lower back issues, shoulder issues, all these things that we don't really want to be dealing with. So we want to target specific areas in your flexibility program. So stretching, especially the flexor muscles, so let's say our chest here is a flexor muscle, are really important. So let's say we're sitting here, we're watching me give this little lecture, and we're leaning forward like this. All these muscles up front here. My hip muscles right below here are going to tighten up. They're going to shorten. They're going to be like, all right, you want to be in this position? Let's stay in this position. And you're going to be working against gravity quite a bit. Meaning, if we're standing up tall, we pretend that we have a pull from the top of our head all the way down to our tailbone. We're going to be in line with gravity. This is where we're not going to be fighting gravity very much. Obviously, you will be a little, but if we're stooped forward, the weight of my head, my shoulders, all that weight's going to go straight to my lower back. So my lower back muscles have to be working so much harder than they really should be. And then eventually they're going to give. They're going to be like, all right, I'm done. And then you're going to get those muscle aches. Okay, so you can only hold yourself in this position for so long. So stretching out the front of those flexor muscles will help you. I see everyone get into a better position here. Get into better posture. Activities such as rotating the spine. Nice easy one that you can visualize is kayaking are also helpful to improve rigidity. But just keeping those arms swinging while you're walking will get that upper body to twist and will stretch out the front of those flexor muscles. Other ways you can improve and maintain flexibility is with dynamic stretching, which is in certain things like yoga and Tai Chi, and in warm-ups just in general that we do. So that's number 2. That's all about the flexibility. In order to get into better posture, we got to strengthen the extensor muscles to groups to improve posture. So we stretched out the front of our muscles. Now we want to strengthen our posterior chain, or our back muscles, really. So our extensor muscles help us uncurl from that fetal position, so that you can help reach for the sky, I said. So the reaching upright posture is where we want to be in line with gravity. So you can see there's a little picture of Jeremy and I, Jeremy's one of our coaches, and we're teaching one of the power moves, which is called power reach, I call it, or what is it? Can't remember. I'll tell you that at the end of it. Anyways, we're reaching up for the sky. We're squeezing our shoulder blades together. Our posture's upright. We're using those extensor muscle groups. So extension exercises strengthen the back, strengthen the hips, facilitate the upright posture, and may relieve back pain because you're not leaning forward. You don't have to work against gravity nearly as much. So strengthening, especially in the back, hips, and triceps, are what we recommend in terms of what should I be doing? Think about muscle groups in the back, hips, and triceps, and you're doing great. Okay, lastly, number 4 is kind of a combination of both 2 and 3 here. So we want to develop that erect postural alignment. So this little photo here is both of me and Linda. And we're doing a power up position. It's one of my favorite positions, and it's again it's a power move that I teach, or that we teach. So I'm gonna get you just to feel it out real quick, see what I mean by that upright posture. So your hands are gonna be back to your side, your thumbs are gonna be pointed back, your posture, right, is gonna be up, shoulders back, and try to squeeze those shoulder blade muscles together. When we're here, this is our power up position. We're in line with gravity. So we're strengthening our back muscles. We're stretching the front muscles. And we want to try to stay here. I know it feels a little weird if you're definitely just trying it out for the first time. But it opens up all these muscles here. And it honestly feels fantastic. We spend so much of our days in this position, typing, reading, driving, anything like that. We don't spend enough time in this position here, strengthening your postural muscles that keep you upright. So that's number 4. All right, we're halfway here. Number 5, use big, full amplitude, whole body movements, vary patterns and sequences. So this is all about power moves. So with Parkinson's, as you know, slow, small movements are common. And what you may think is a big movement may not actually be a big movement. That's why it's so important to think big, and which will help you move big. So if you over-exaggerate the movement, it will become more full size. So with that power up position we just did, if we just go thumbs back, we're just thinking about this posture, it's good. But what if you think about going even bigger, right? We're going to get more of the stretch in the front. We're going to activate more of those muscles in the lower back, which is what our goal is, to use big full amplitude movements. So you want to move in all directions, practice turning, emphasize weight shifting, and I'm sounding repetitive here, but this is all the power moves. This is all what power moves is about. Number 6, using loud, strong voices. So again, soft, slow speech is common, and I'm sure I sympathize. It's probably super frustrating talking on the phone. Someone can't hear you, can't understand you. But practicing loud and strong voices, so working those muscles, just like if we were to do a bicep curl, we're working our bicep muscles. If we shout and use strong voices, we're going to be helping our vocal cord muscles. Can help with both voice quality and movement. Movement, because cueing is a great way to help with your, let's say, left and right steps. So rather than just taking a step to the left, center, taking a step to the right, center, if we use our voice and we say left, together, right, together, we're going to increase that mind to body connection, and that will help with the quality of the movement. I'm sure you heard music is so great for those with movement disorders. Same thing with cueing, and using your voice at the same time is kind of like killing a bird with two stones there. Nope, killing a bird with two stones, is that it? I'm not sure. Two birds with one stone. There we go. And a little resource here. So parkinsonsvoiceproject.org. I know a bunch of you use this site already. It's a non-for-profit organization offering free daily voice classes. It's free, it's online, it's easily accessible. It'll help with your voice if you need it. Definitely recommend heading over there if you want to do some vocal training. Okay, number 7, improve your sensory motor integration for balance. So, where you are in space. So your body, or your brain is always making little tiny adjustments to stay in line with gravity. So the sensory motor integration refers to the communication between our senses and our muscles. So this is something that can also become impaired. So it's vital to keep on working on your sensory motor by doing things such as balancing. So I always say the best way to practice balance is to actually balance. You don't have to do anything crazy, acrobatic, Cirque du Soleil type of thing, but literally standing on one foot close to a chair like you see I'm doing right here, or even on a chair like what Linda's doing, is going to help work all the muscles you need to keep balanced. Another good thing I've been doing recently is a little sensory motor warm-up. I'll call it now. I call it something else, but I'll call it a warm-up. So in the mornings, if you're feeling a little off balance, it's good to rebalance yourself out. So let's say I'm standing up right beside the counter. I'm going to focus on keeping my weight over my full foot. So quite often, especially with Parkinson's, we become a little heel heavy, meaning most of her weight's going to be over on that heels. I'm sure you've tried to stand up and you get pushed right back into your chair. You try again, and it's really hard. It's because, here, let me move back so I can show you. It's because all that weight, can you see? There we go. Is in those heels of yours. I'm going to show this later. I know I'm really small on the screen, but I'll show you later when I'm on the bigger screen. So you want to lean forward so that more of your weight's on your toes and your heels. So that warm-up that I'm talking about is standing up near something you can hold on to and feel your weight shift forward onto those toes. Feel your weight shift back on your heels. Then comes center. So find the center of gravity right in between your toes and your heels. And then you can even practice weight shifting from side to side. So that's the very basic way of doing it. If you want to make it a little bit harder, close those eyes. This way you can really feel where you are with the sensory motor pathways there. Okay, I have a little mat here as well. So this is what I'm saying by balance pads or mats. So if I stand on this, it's just going to give me a little bit of feedback on where my weight is on my heels nor my toes, and it's going to obviously challenge your balance as well because it's an unstable surface. So if you have trouble, I think I said it here too, the inclines on your surfaces, you have trouble going upstairs or a ramp, just because your body doesn't really know what to do there. So if you're going to practice that, just practice by literally standing on it and feel where your weight is. Because probably it's going to be in those heels. So you want to make sure you put a little bit more weight onto the middle of your feet or those toes. So I like to say start the day with that balance, a warm-up to reboot the mind. Okay, we're almost there. Number 8, encourage speed and quickness. So Parkinson's can cause slowness of movements. So by practicing quick movements like quick footwork or boxing, that can really, really help. Or just the big, powerful exercises as well. So shuttle runs, agility ladders, these are quite complex, but something similar or something really simple you can do even in a chair. You can do some boxing sequences. And Kaylee Ryan, I'm sure some of you recognize her name. She's in Kelowna as well, and she does Parkinson specific boxing classes. She runs Park Fit in here in Kelowna, so you can always type that on Google and search up her name. She's great, and I think she's I'm not sure, it's boxing, it'll be high intensity. I'm not sure if she's up and running just yet, but hopefully when all this COVID stuff's soon to be done, she'll be up and running again. Okay. Number 9, build mind-body connections. So building mind-body connections can help promote the awareness of our own movement, which can be impaired. So doing activities that require planning or sequencing can help build mind-body connections. So this is called, or at least in my words, it's called Power Moves Flow is how I learned it. So adding 5, 6, 7 different exercises all at once. This is also a huge thing with Tai Chi, right? You're moving to one side, I don't know Tai Chi, and then you move to the other side. You do different movements in sequence. So your brain has to keep up and remember, all right, what's happening next? Okay, what's happening next while doing the movements. So that's often the case in terms of when you get stuck, right? Your feet can't stuck, you don't know what to do next. As you stand up and you have trouble with that first step, it's that sequencing from standing to that first step, or you're taking a step to the left, it's hard to take a step to the right. So the sequencing from right to left. So doing things like Tai Chi, like yoga, like the Power Moves Flow that we do in classes can really help recreate these new motor pathways in the brain. And like I said, repetition, repetition, repetition. So important to do things in repetition. And lastly, develop reciprocal motions. So finally, we're going to talk about gait. So if we do everything, so from 1 to 9, for the steps I just gave you, your gait should improve already. So your posture's upright, you're thinking about big movements, you're practicing your balance, all these things you need for good gait. But one thing you definitely want to think about is opposite arm, opposite leg. So practicing reciprocal, coordinated arm and leg movements can definitely help address this problem. So doing things like we do in class all the time, just in your house, opposite arm, opposite leg, high marches, 45 seconds to a minute. Or one thing I like to suggest to quite a few of my clients is when you're out for a walk, you pinpoint something ahead of you, whether that's like a mailbox, that's a lamppost, anything like that. You're going to say from here to there, could be 10 meters, could be 100 meters, whatever, but I'm going to focus on proper gait. So big arm swings, high knees, bring my toes up, swing my arms, opposite arm, opposite leg for that X amount of time, and gain that repetition over and over and over again. It's going to help those neural pathways redevelop, and then it's going to help you with your walking. Because if you're not swinging those arms back and forth or large enough, or at all, your balance is going to be a little bit thrown. That's why you want to do opposite arm, opposite leg. If we're doing the same arm, same leg, all my weight's on the left, all my weight's on the right. We want to do opposite arm, opposite leg. Keep that center of mass right in the middle. Help with your balance. And also, if you're doing this big arm swings, high knees, your momentum's going to be going forward. So if we're moving forward at a pretty decent speed, your walking is going to be better. If you're shuffling along and you're not taking big steps, it's going to be a lot harder to balance, which may increase your chances of falling. So we want to make sure we have as big of a gait that you safely can do when you're walking. All right, I think I have questions. Yes. So does anyone have any questions about my 10-step movement guide before we do any practicing of power moves? If you do, you can put your hand up. They were pretty. I've been watching Jeopardy on Netflix recently. Terry. I can't unmute you, Terry, so
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Yeah. Hi, Sean. I don't know whether I missed something, but at the very beginning, we talked about the time frame being 2.5 hours per week, and it worked out this. We had 16.5 minutes a day. Was that what that slide said?
I think so. Is that correct math? My math is off.
That's what I'm thinking. The math wasn't quite what up.
Oh no. What is it? Tell me, Terry.
Should be about 22 minutes.
Oh no.
A day.
Oh, thank you, Terry.
It's just a technicality.
Oh, Terry, you're just making me look bad in front of everyone. 22 minutes, okay? Well, we won't forget that now.
22. Yeah.
Is that right, everyone? Oh, man. Okay, well, thank you, Terry. With 22 minutes, everyone, that's pretty attainable still, though, right? It's not like it's not like I'm asking you to do 60 minutes every day. We can do 22 minutes. 60 minutes is still good, though, too. All right, any other questions? Just my typo.
Yeah, with me.
Hi, Sharon. Oh, hi, Sharon.
My name is Eric Champion.
Okay.
I'm wondering if you have any comments to make about the benefits of swimming or exercises in the water.
Fantastic. So I do a bunch of rehab as well, and I personally don't do the water exercises, but I do have someone I refer out to, and it's amazing, especially if you're having troubles with balance and you can't do as large of movements in gravity or standing. The pool is fantastic, especially by like practicing your big steps, practicing your rotations, everything like that. I would highly recommend doing pool movements. You can even actually get a pretty good workout in. Like if you just move back and forth with those arms, your muscles going to be firing. You could even do those power ups like I showed you before with your hands back and just push your water back, and you're going to be strengthening the back muscles like I talked about. That will help you with better posture. So yeah, and then swimming, it's aerobic. So you're going to be increasing your heart rate, which is one of the biggest things you can do to help slow down, or at least that's what they argue in science, that can help slow down the progression of PD. So yes, do it.
Thanks.
Of course. Think we're okay. Think we're okay. All right. So 30 minutes. Okay, we're gonna do a quick 5-minute movement. It's not really a break. We're gonna finish off with movements, and then I'll give you some resources. So I'm just gonna click off here. You're gonna see me big screen. Try some of these movements out if you. Spotted. Okay, just want to make sure I'm still there. To make sure, or if you haven't tried it, I want you to try it. So I was talking about the 4 basic power moves. We're going to do those today. We're going to start with power ups, which we briefly went over before. It's my favorite movement. So I'm at the front of my chair, as you should be, because I told you at the beginning of the class. My feet are right underneath my knees. My posture's up. I'm going to reach forward. You can see my fingers are wide too, so right, everything in power moves is big. So everything, even down to your fingers, are big. So you're reaching forward, leaning forward. I'm leaning with my hips. I'm not arching, okay? I'm leaning with my hips. Then I'm gonna power up, thumbs back, chest up, squeeze my shoulder blades together. So let's do 2 more of these nice and slow. Then power up, 1 more, reach, and power up. Let's speed it up. Down, power up. Good job. Loud voice. Down, power up. Let's do 8. Power up. Good job. 7. Power up. 6. Power up. Good. 5. Power up. Keep it going. 4. Power up. You guys are looking great. 3. Power up. 2, power up. Last one, and power up. Very good. Let's get a little bit wider stance. Then we're going to do our weight shifts now. I forgot what it was called earlier. So these are our weight shifts. I had a photo of Jeremy and I doing this movement. So hands together, we're going to lean to one side. So we're focusing on weight shifting from side to side. So we're going to lean to the left. Our left hand's going to be up. Our right hand's going to be back. Again, my fingers are wide, and I can do a little eye boost, we call it. So you look over at your left hand, then come center. Everything's tight. Weight shift over to the right side now. So we're practicing our weight shifts that we need for things like walking, for instance. Very basic movements, but we need to make sure we can weight shift from side to side. We're going to do 1 more slow here. Then come center. Let's speed it up. So reach. Then come center. Good job. Reach. Center. Think big. Reach. Center. Reach. Center. 6 more. 6. Center. 5. Center. 4. Center. 3. Center. 2. center, last one, and center. Very good. I want everyone to bring those feet in. Next, we're going to do a lower body movement. Definitely if you have trouble getting out of a car, maybe moving from underneath the dining room table, this is a great one for you. So left leg, you're going to bring it up as high as you can, out as far as you can. Of course, if you have a chair leg or that hip isn't the greatest, don't go as far as me. And then I'm going to bring that left leg all the way back center, then right leg, big step. Good, and then come together. Now let's incorporate our upper body as well. So left leg's going to step. You're going to reach with that left hand. If you can reach with that back hand. Again, we're opening up into that big posture, looking at that left hand. Then come center, big step to the right, and center. Good. Left, center, big right, center. 8 more. 8. Center. 7. Center. 6. Center. 5. Center. 4. Center. 3. Center. Good job. 2. Center. Last 1. And center. Fantastic. We got one more movement, then we're done for our movement part of today. So, wide stance. As you can see, we're going to do some twisting. So I talked about kayaking or big arm swings to keep that flexibility in your upper body. We're going to do some power twisting. So my hands are out to the side. And then I'm going to try to bring my left hand to my right. Watch what I do with my leg here though. So I'm going to bring my hip down. So I'm not just twisting through my spine here. I'm going to protect my lower back by bringing that leg down to the ground. Then I'm opening up. Again, big movement. Twist to the left. Clap those hands. Open, squeeze your shoulder blades together in that power up position, okay? 2 more slow. Twist and clap. Big open. 1 more. Twist and clap. And open. Let's go for 8. Open. 7. Open. 6. Open. 5. Open. 4. Open. 3. Open. 2. Open. Last 1. And open. Very good. Rest those arms down. So those are the 4 basic moves. They can be done standing. They can be done on your hands and knees. They can be done on your back on the ground as well. So I always try to incorporate those movements every single class that I teach. Of course, we make it a little bit more complicated. We make it a little bit more fun. If you ever came to any of my classes, you know I like to switch it up on you and try to confuse you. Do lots of sequencing and all that good stuff like that. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, questions, demonstration. Little bit about me, and then I'll let you know other places you can go as well. Right now it's hard with COVID. There's not a whole bunch of resources in terms of exercises or exercise classes. I recommend the Parkinson's Rec Center though, if you are here in Kelowna. They still have yoga, running, all those things if you feel like in-person stuff works for you. I will eventually be coming back to in-person, but as soon as we're safe to do so, then I will be coming back into in-person classes as well. I will still be running the online portion of it. So right now, currently I have 6 live online classes a week. So I have chair yoga, I have power moves, I have high intensity power moves as well. We have a strength class where we work on bands and we work with some weights. We have balance training classes, we have flexibility classes, we have yoga, which I forgot to put in there, and soon we're going to have Tai Chi. So we're going to have 7 classes by the end of the month, which is pretty cool. So I recommend you, if you want, you obviously don't have to, you can try out a 2 free week trial at my website at www.inmotion.com. And you also have access to all our previous videos as well, which is kind of cool. It's kind of like a Netflix or anything like that. It's a streaming service. You can view all the other classes that we've taught over the last few months online. But like I said, at the very beginning of the class, you have to do something that you enjoy. So if exercise classes aren't your thing, then it's not going to be your thing. That's fine. No pressure to take my classes. But you have to find something that you can move with. I'm just going to go on a little tangent. My grandpa, when he first diagnosed, he was so into fitness. He kept on moving at the very beginning of his diagnosis, and then something clicked and he was like, I don't want to move anymore, and he progressed so much quicker afterwards. I've seen people walk in, when we actually could see people in our classes, I've seen people walk into our classes, posture like in that slouch position, gaits slow or small, and then by the end of 6 months or so, their gaits improved. They're able to do more outside the classes. So I'm just saying the power of exercise is huge. So definitely try to get as much movement as you can. 22 minutes, thank you Terry, not 16. Try to get 22 minutes a day, and just find something that you enjoy. That's the biggest thing. Keep on moving. I also do individual training as well on Zoom or in person, home visits, all that good stuff. I'll get Louise to send this out to you. These are just some free exercise video links that from myself and Linda from one of our a couple of our previous classes. Feel free, you can check them out, see what we're all about. But like I said, find something that you enjoy. Keep on moving. It was great to meet everyone that virtually that I haven't met before. I won't be going. I see some hands going up. And then here's the exercise studies that I talked about at the beginning. So I have a few of them here. 5 of them to be exact, all about how exercise can help those with PD. They're really good reads, but like I said, they're big articles, so they take a while. But there is a bunch of research going on already that has gone on. There's a bunch more coming, so keep on moving. If you have any questions, I'll open up the floor again, and then I think we'll go into groups. But thank you all. It was great talking to you all.